please introduce yourself and, the role you play in the band?
Yeah, so I'm Matt from Cross and Eyes Dotting T's. I'm the original founder and I'm the singer and rhythm guitarist.
So, very important first question. I saw there was a social media post about sleeping in a skate park or the benefit of sleeping in a skate park.
Yeah.
Did you all really get to sleep in one or
Yeah, we had we were on tour and we were supposed to play a show in Houston and the venue got shut down 2 days before we were supposed to play. Like the whole entire venue got shut down. It was one of those like venues that had a one big complex, like one 1,200 capacity room, one like 600 capacity room, then one like 200 capacity room, something like that. And we were playing with the band Post Profit from out there, so we were playing in like the middle room. And it was supposed to be a sick show, and then we get an email like 2 days before just saying, "Hey, the we're shut down." They didn't give like any real explanation, and then we ended up finding out that like I guess the bigger room, the roof collapsed or something like weeks before, and it trickled over to the other room. I don't know, something happened, but yeah, so we ended up having to find a new venue within 2 days of the show. So we ended up finding a skate park that was about 45 minutes outside of Houston in Katy, Texas. And we ended up staying there, or we ended up playing there for the show. And then we were supposed to stay at somebody's house that we were friends with, but they ended up, their roommate was sick, or I don't remember the exact story that happened, that we ended up not being able to stay there. And the owner of that skate shop is like the coolest dude ever. His name's Tom. Shout out Tom. He let us just sleep at the skate park. So I mean, it's a skate shop with like a skate park in it. So we were like, that is perfect. So yeah, we actually just slept there like on the ramp and stuff. It's fun.
that's awesome?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually been to a skate park. I used to go watch skateboarders, but not to an
Yeah.
actual park.
Yeah. I've always been a big skateboarder, especially growing up in Southern California. So I love it. It was awesome. We always loved playing skate parks and skate shops and those kind of places.
Yeah, I know Tony Hawk is actually working on some skate park in Milwaukee here in
Oh,
Wisconsin.
really? Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
trying to
So,
revive it.
yeah, it needs
Some revival.
yeah.
So I read that you decided to start writing music and you started the band in 2021 after losing a family member.
Mhm.
Sorry for your loss. Would you say that the loss you experienced molded you into the musician you are today?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I originally just started putting out music back then just to get some stuff off my chest. I wasn't really planning on doing anything really with it or like making a band. It was just kind of to get some stuff off my chest, and then ended up doing a little bit well. So I just was like, oh, I'm just gonna keep going with it, and then ended up finding some guys and finding more people, and just I don't know, ended up just taking it from there. But yeah, it's always been the main source of inspiration has pretty much been that. The main thing kind of keeping me going because it was my cousin and he was like my best friend and like one of the only guys who was like musically the same as me from around here. A lot of my friends aren't into the same music that I am. I don't have a single friend that listens to my music or any the type of music that I like and stuff like that. So they're all kind of hip hop and EDM kind of people, and that's how it is a lot in Southern California and Orange County specifically. But yeah, my cousin, he was from Texas, but he we had like the same type of like music taste. He'd like all the smaller bands that I liked and stuff like that, and he'd always just kind of listen to what I was listening to as well. So yeah, definitely is always in the back of my head, always like what keeps me going for sure.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
And now, when first listening to your band, I definitely got a lot of different, I don't know, I'll say alternative, grungy kind of feels from it. What have been your influences over the years?
For sure, the '90s and the 2000s, alt rock and grunge, for sure, like post grunge specifically. I know that's a touchy subject, touchy word. I feel like people hate post grunge, and it's like dad rock or butt rock or whatever you want to call it. But we don't. I mean, we try to not make it like we don't make it like that specifically, like vocally, I guess. But sometimes we don't go over the top with like making it. But it's all like '90s and early 2000s influence with a lot of like '90s and 2000s and 2010s like emo. So like I'd say it's a good mix of like Bush and Stained and Silverchair mixed with like Balancing Composure, Citizen, Sea Haven, but also like Jawbox. those are like really the main. Then I also love the Pixies. But those are kind of the main ones I'd say. But we just try to make things sound kind of like the 90s or early 2000s, but also put a mix on it. 'Cause a lot of our songs just don't sound the same. Like, some of them go from here to there. We have a song with Have Mercy. Like some of our songs sound kind of pop punky. Some of them sound a lot heavier. So we just don't like to make the same exact song over and over again, or the same exact genre. Like wise, like a lot of bands nowadays, they get kind of boxed into a certain genre and they kind of just start making the same song over and over again.
Hmm.
And we like to just be like, oh, like, wow, I like that riff. Like, let's just make something out of that. And if it comes out, sounding not anything like the 90s or thousands, like we're fine with that because we're still like, yeah, we still like it, but we kind of try to make it sound somewhat like that time frame.
Would you say that having that kind of, approach to the music and not really trying to fit into one particular box is helping to evolve your music since its inception?
I think it's like it's a little bit of both. I think it hurts a lot more than it helps, honestly, just because I feel like people do like to have like the same consistency of music. When they're maybe listening to somebody, they want to make all this, or they want to be able to put it in a box and say it sounds like this, so I like it. Where some of our songs do sound specifically like something, but a lot of ours are just kind of like a mix of random things. And I think that sometimes it's like not could be not off-putting, but just like, oh, like I don't know what I don't know what to expect with this band. Like it's like I like some of them, I don't like some of them, or this or that. But whereas if you just made, if we were like a straight grunge gaze or shoegaze band, like if you're into that kind of music, you're just gonna like it regardless. But I feel like it just gets so boring sometimes to just make the same things over and over again. I feel like a lot of people are doing that. The TikTok era of music of, it's kind of what's popular right now. So I think it definitely does both. I think some people do. I mean, a lot of people do enjoy it and do like to have a mix up of things, but at a certain point, like a mix and match of different music, it's like they could like it or they could be like, all right, well, that's why I have different playlists. That's why I want to hear this band sound exactly like this. So I don't know. I feel like I'm not sure. And it's definitely just kind of like a learning curve always. But I don't know. I like to do it.
Yeah, I definitely like the variety. And if you think about it, it's kind of almost reverse engineering the normal progression. Because a lot of bands, let's even take Bring Me the Horizon, for instance, they start off death metal
Yeah.
and they've turned into, I don't even know what to call them now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like pop rock, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows what to call them
Post-death
now?
metal.
Post.
Post-death metal.
I like that. But yeah, no. So it's almost like reverse engineering that progress, but kind of saying, hey, we're interested in all this. Why don't we just do everything that we're interested in, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. 'Cause we could also, we're seeing to which songs people are clinging to more, which people like more. So eventually maybe we'll start leaning directly into those type of songs. As of right now, like the ones that are getting more attention are like the grunge gazy ones, like our song All Feelings Aside and November Cold. Like those two are like kind of our bigger ones and they're just kind of heavier, slower, sludgier ish. Whereas the other ones are all kind of all over the place, but I feel like we might start leaning into that kind of sound because like we really love like the Narrowhead and Soul Blind, those kind of bands. So if we could just get like that sounding, I feel like people would dig it a lot because we still have some of the variety like that, but then we mix it with just like not stuff that would maybe normally be the exact tone of those kind of songs. We kind of just switch things up, but not like I mean, we're not Jurassic. I'm not saying that we're like inventive or anything. It's just like I don't like making it like exactly what you expect to hear. Maybe.
Yeah.
Sure, and I'd like to take an opportunity to pass along a piece of advice from a couple bands we've had on the podcast before. Um, Make the music you want to make and that you enjoy, and
Yeah.
the fans will follow.
Yeah.
We've had a couple say they were making music they thought people wanted to hear, and it ended up being horrible, and they just said, we're gonna make what we want to make, and they started taking off. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's good
Yeah.
advice for sure.
And you mentioned shoegaze. I did want to mention that we did interview the band Fetters in Use.
Nice. I saw
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
I saw.
from Russia and they're
Yeah.
shoegaze and
Yeah,
They were a good interview.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, they're sick.
They're good people.
Yeah, there's a ton of cool shoegaze bands, and and I love the new like the people say they call it, grunge gaze, the mix of grunge and shoegaze. I feel like it's kind of, I like the idea. I think it's kind of weird, but like that's what like is kind of huge. I feel like on TikTok and social media right now is this like, this action, like maybe like an actual vocal, actually being able to hear the vocals while still having shoegaze,
Hmm.
tendency with the guitars and songwriting and like the production wise, but actually have that's because that's what I mean, I love vocals and I love like not necessarily like beautiful, but just being able to hear the vocals, right? So like I love shoegaze too, but I can only do so much. Like I can't listen to like really like a full album necessarily unless it's like My Bloody Valentine or something. But like I feel like a lot of newer shoegaze bands, not to like hate or anything, but I just feel like they're all kind of the same tonality, same kind of thing the whole way through. And that's what it is. That's what shoegaze is. But like I like to actually be able to hear lyrics and like actually what they're saying. And most of the time you can't, understand what it is. Shoegaze is more just like a vibe. So I think I like that like mix of being able to actually hear the vocals and bring like the verses down a little bit and bring the chorus back heavier, but still have that shoegaze feel while also making it kind of, grungy and sludgier.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
So in a previous interviews I came across while doing my homework, you mentioned you'll be releasing an emo type acoustic EP and a heavier alt rock EP. What made you
yeah.
decide to make these two very different EPs?
So I just had a couple of acoustic songs that I was sitting on for a while, and I had sent them around to people, and they were just like, "Yeah, you should just like." I was gonna originally just release them as like a new project and just like, or under like just my own name or something, because I didn't know if they fit. But people were like, I mean, you could definitely just release those across the I's, dotting T's. So we thought about it, and I was like, yeah, if we just release like we were thinking about doing like a couple of straight up acoustic songs, then taking a couple other songs and making them into acoustic full band versions. So we'd have just like a little random EP of if people like it. I know people like acoustic songs. I like acoustic songs, and I feel like we just didn't have anything like that. So I was like, thought it'd be cool to do that instead of just releasing it as like a new project or something. But then get back to like what we're like really all about with like the heavier alt rock stuff. So we wanted to make it like not like to completely shift like away from our normal sound and make people think that we're going a different direction. So I wanted to just kind of release it just to see how people dug it and then just actually go back to what we're all about normally.
Yeah, and speaking of acoustic songs, Strange Towns released a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I do love the song a lot. I would say would you say this is a good representation of the vibe of the acoustics EP you're going to be going for?
No, see, no, because like that one's honestly it's weird. Like I almost like not regret releasing it, but I'm like I just got influenced to release it. Now I'm like it's because it's very like folky almost. So it doesn't sound like too much like of what I'd want like an emo like acoustic to sound like. So that was more of just like I really liked that song and I dug the lyrics. I just thought it was cool, but it's just kind of like it's just basically like a chorus the whole way through. It's not like a real song. And the same with the other I released another acoustic one, like a 1 minute one called Never Knew a little while back. Now it's also just like one line of lyrics and just a riff. And it's like just a simple kind of little thing to hang on to, but it's not like wasn't supposed to be like a full thing. So no, I'd say that it's kind of the same vibe production wise. I guess it will just be some songs that are just acoustic guitar and like really mellow vocals, like warm vocals, but I think that guitar wise, it's going to be a lot more like actually emo bass with like some like riffage and stuff, but like it'll still be very mellow.
Yeah. So, with all this music, if you could collaborate with any artist or band, who would you choose and why?
Oh, just one. Probably Narrowhead. Honestly, just right now, there's so many bands, but they're always whenever I think of like new bands that I like, so they're like at the top of my list always. I don't have like a huge list of newer bands. I like a lot of bands that have been going for a while and stuff. Like Have Mercy was like my like one of my favorite bands, and I got them to feature on a song. So like I would have said them before, but like new bands, I'd say Narrowhead. I think they have like the biggest sound, the heaviest sound, and like the kind of a more inventive sound. And they really do sound like the 90s and early 2000s, but they definitely have like their own touch, and they're just like so big.
Yeah, I've never heard of them, so I'll have to check them out.
No, oh yeah, check they yeah, they just played Coachella and stuff. So they're kind of blowing up right now. They're awesome.
And if you could go on tour with your choice of bands while completely mixing genres together, who would you choose?
Um, oh man. I mean, the Counting Crows are my favorite band of all time. So I would say the Counting Crows, then Joyce Manor. They're my second favorite. Um, oh God. Uh, and then have to say Hum because they're doing stuff again. So that's I guess that's a pretty decent little bill right there, mixed for sure.
Counting Crows and Hum. Hum?
Hum, yeah.
I don't think I've heard of them either. I've heard of the Counting Crows though.
Yeah, the kind, yeah, it's random. Where I just that like that the acoustic song that I just released is very Counting Crows inspired. They're my favorite band ever, like lyrically and stuff, and just kind of like nostalgia reasons. But like, I know that's like people always cringe when I say that, but I love them so much. I just love everything to do with the '90s. But then yeah, Hum is like a also a '90s. They're like being like a lot of people took inspiration, like Nirvana took a lot of inspiration from them. Deftones took inspiration from them. It's like noted that they were like always a smaller band, like never quite made it to Deftones level or any. Obviously, you've never heard of them. They're big, but not huge. Played probably a couple late night type shows, but they're like a big inspiration thing for other bands. So yeah, you should check them out.
I'll definitely check them out.
So I did see that you guys are on Pugfest 2. How stoked are you to play that with that
Yeah,
big bill of bands?
so sick. But I was when we found out, I was like, damn, like that's because like a lot of those bands, like they don't really, we're not like Midwest emo or anything like that. It's a very Midwest emo heavy type of festival, but like Prince Daddy and the Hyena was one of the big influences to actually make music for me too, just because like I love the Midwest emo style, the punk style of like nothing has to be perfect, and it's like they're just like normal guys just like playing music and yelling and stuff, and it's just not pitch perfect. It's just, it is what it is. And I think all their live performances were so sick, and it got me into like the confidence to actually start making music. Them and then all those type of bands, Joyce Manor, Pup, all those bands. So yeah, I'm like incredibly stoked. There's so many sick bands in the bill. We still don't know exactly where we're playing. We haven't been told yet, like what bill we're on yet or whatever, where we're playing, but like it's gonna be incredibly fun. And yeah, we're doing a little tour around that we're about to announce probably next week.
Yeah. I remember you were asking for promoters and
Yeah,
ideas of
yeah,
who you contact for like the Midwest area.
yeah, yeah.
So talking about tours, we love hearing stories from the road or even just the stage. Do you have any crazy or fun stories you could share?
Um, let's see.
I know it's
Uh,
a hard thing to answer when it's like you
yeah,
can share. Is it safe to share? I don't know
yeah.
sometimes.
No, I mean nothing crazy. I mean nothing crazy happens. I mean, oh man. I mean, no, I mean nothing like super crazy has happened to us. I mean, other than like our car was pretty fucked up last time. But no, I mean, other than that show, the venue shutting down, that was crazy. But we had a really crazy show in Albuquerque, in New Mexico. It was like it was like this DIY kind of space, but it was just like bursting out of the door. There was like too many people there. And that was just a really memorable night, I'd say. But like it was just crazy because it was so fun. The first half of tour was pretty dang fun for us, and then the second half kind of unwheeled a little bit. It wasn't as great as the first half, but I'm trying to think of like specific instances. I wouldn't say anything type like really that crazy has ever really happened, honestly.
Yeah. Have you ever had any like weird hecklers in the crowd?
No, we never had it, weird hecklers. No, never. I would say there's just some weird people in general, who maybe offer some stuff that's not up to par. But I mean, other than that, without getting too into that, like that's like like there's some weird people, but no hecklers, just
No
people who
random person yelling "Freebird, Freebird."
literally never. Crazy, yeah. You think that there would be one or two, but no, never. For whatever reason. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think of like anything too crazy that. Yeah, just some people offer some weird stuff, but yeah.
I think one of the funnest stories we've heard on the podcast was someone in a band was like terrified of a snakes and had to help some lady get a snake out of her car.
So random.
I liked
Yeah,
I
no.
like Dennis. I like Dennis's from Alisana about the kid licking.
Oh yeah, Dennis was in it was in Germany and some he felt like some little hand come down his back and he was sweaty as hell. And then he turns around and there's this little German boy and then the German boy licks his hand. That would just make me cringe so
Yeah,
much.
yeah, that's weird.
And then actually Fetters and Use fired their bassist mid-set.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't think they got into it, did they?
No.
I thought they said something about he was kind of like going off on his own or like
Oh
turned up
yeah, yeah.
his
Uh,
stuff a little too high and
oh,
it just wasn't.
okay. Sorry, we had so our actually, I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about. Our drummer quit 2 days before tour started. So we had to hire it was one of our friends. We just had to pay him a little bit to come on because it was 2 days before. And so he had to learn the songs 2 days before the whole tour. And he already had a show that was booked for like 4 days into the tour starting. So we had to fly him back on like we played Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then we flew him back on Monday. We had an off day for him to go play a show that night that he was already committed to back home in Orange County on that Monday, and then fly him back out the next morning to come meet back up with us on Tuesday. And so that's already crazy. It was already just so hectic, but it like worked out perfect. It just was expensive. It sucked that in that regard, but we were able to make most things work. But he missed his flight on the return home flight. So we had to end up our bassist plays drums too. So he ended up hopping on drums and playing drums, and we did a three-piece with just two guitars, and we like tuned one of the guitars down a lot to like make it sound a little bassier. And it was just very very hectic, and it sucked, but we got it done because we had like a long drive to this spot. So he was just listening to the songs over and over again to get the drum parts down, and then we like got there early, so we were able to rehearse for a couple hours, and we got it done. I think that was definitely the craziest thing. And then we flew him back out for the next day. Luckily it was like a Tuesday show in Oklahoma, so it wasn't like the end of the world. It was just we had a it was like one of the only venues. It was like a well, I wouldn't say even venues, DIY space, but like it was one of the only or two or three places that gave us an actual guarantee. So we were like, dude, we have to make this work, like one way or the other. Like we are getting this money. There's no way. So we made it work, but that sucked.
Yeah. I must say the snake story was Jesse from the Failsafe. So if you want to hear about that story, feel free to
Yeah.
go check that
All
interview
right.
out.
Well, for sure.
But I don't let him live it down. It's always
That's
a
fun.
running joke with
Yeah.
snakes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm scared of snakes too. I wouldn't want to do that either.
So I can tell you're very passionate about your music and what you create. Do you have any other hobbies or passions besides
No,
music?
no,
No?
no,
I mean
no.
skateboarding.
Skateboard, yeah, but I've been just doing music lately. But yeah, I grew up skateboarding. I've been a big skateboarder my whole life. I've been really slacking on it, but no, I mean, I spend like 24/7 these days doing music. I mean, I do like DoorDash on the side. I used to do I played football in college as well. I went to Chapman University. And I once I graduated, I was just doing like a sales business development management job for like 4 years. And I just hated it so much. And I just ended up leaving to do just music. So now it's like just trying to make it so I'm just like I spend literally all my free time doing music stuff or doing some type of marketing for music or whatever it may be. Um, the only other thing I do is just work out, but like I wouldn't consider that a passion of mine. I just have to do it. Like I just do it because I've always done it. But no, I mean I'm just really all in on music.
Yeah, I mean, Chris
Just
works out. Is that a passion of yours, Chris?
no, I'm gonna say that's a neurosis of
Yeah,
mine. Like, so
yeah,
I used to weigh like 65-ish pounds more. And like,
okay,
like you notice a difference in how you
yeah,
feel once you start working out and eat right. And now I have like a neurosis of like, I don't want to go back.
yeah, hundred
Like,
percent.
and it's like I have extreme self-guilt if I normally I'd go 5 days a week. And then like on my rest days, if you will, like I'm still not physically working out, but I'm very active and moving around. Because if
Yeah,
I'm just sitting, I feel so guilty. I'm like,
yeah,
I can't just fucking sit here. I can't. I gotta get up and move around.
yeah,
But no,
right,
lately, like I don't know if you've seen like for my like this morning, I just go cruise on my skateboard around the neighborhood for like 30 to 45 minutes.
yeah,
And it was like 85 degrees already this morning. And man, by like 20 minutes in, I like checked my heart rate and I'm like, holy crap, I'm in like the peak range and I'm not even pushing that hard. I'm like,
yeah,
damn, it's hot.
It's the
yeah.
And
heat.
I'm like dripping sweat. My grip tape is stained with my sweat now. I'm like, dang. But yeah, what kind, I'm just curious, what boards did you used to ride? Because normally people are, you know, loyal to a brand.
Yeah, I'm not loyal to a brand. I like them all, but I always ride 8.5s for size wise. And then I like literally all. A lot of my favorites are like a crooked tattoo on me. Crooked's probably my favorite, and then anti-hero. But I like everything. I mean, I grew up with like the whole like girl real anti-hero,
Yeah.
all those kind of brands, but I really just loved graphics. So like I was never to me like a board one didn't feel better to me than another. I just loved the graphics of skateboards. That's what like drew me in originally was all the cool graphics. So a lot of brands always have cool graphics. So like I'd always just go to whatever was my favorite or my favorite skater at the time. Now I don't, I don't care about skaters, like who my favorite skater is. I just kind of have a board. I don't even know what fucking board I have right now. I
Yeah.
think it's like it might be a
I don't know if
shop, active
I don't know if
shop.
you
Like
can
it's
see it. I'll have to stand.
yeah.
But I also have a skateboarding tattoo. I have the Black
Oh,
Label
Black Label. Fuck
logo
yeah.
on it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I used to love
Um,
yeah.
I was very loyal to Black Label, and you're gonna think I'm crazy. I used to ride 7.5s.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Like I used to love because you can just flip them faster and all that. But like, um, as I got older and my feet grew a little more, it became really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But now I ride 8.25s, and then my cruiser is 9.5.
Yeah.
But
I
I
always
have
love
no idea what you guys are talking about. I was a
yeah.
rollerblader.
Love it.
the size refers to inch width of the board.
Ah,
See, I should have had you measured the one in
picture
the
I sent you
shop that
today.
came in. I should have had
Yeah.
you measure it. So she works at a thrift store and somebody donated an Element skateboard.
Oh, nice.
And she's like, the woman was what was she gonna put on it? You said
She
like
was gonna
three
put
dollars?
3.99 on it.
And it's a complete. It's not just a deck, it's a complete.
For $3.99.
Yes.
Yeah. And so and so I looked at it. I'm like, well, can you test the bushings and how well do the wheels roll? She took a picture of the underside. I'm like, okay, razor tail is starting. You got some cracks. I was like, okay, an established skater isn't going to touch this, but an established skater might get it for their like kid or something like that. And as soon as I typed that all out and I'm typing what I was going to tell her to price it at, she's like, I'm going to put it for 25. I was like, I was just going to tell you I wouldn't pay more than 25.
See,
Yeah,
I'm pretty
that's what.
smart when it comes to
Yeah,
pricing.
I never. Element was one of the only brands that I think was probably one of the only ones that I didn't like. I don't know why. I think I also like. I think it had something to do with Nigel Houston back in the day. I like him now, but I think that I didn't like him back then. Maybe when I was growing up, I don't know why. But like, I never liked Element. I always thought they were kind of like I don't know about lame, but like I never liked their graphics. I never
They
liked.
seemed conceited. Like
Yeah,
just the way they
yeah,
carry themselves, like we're better than the
yeah,
rest of the industry. They
yeah. I
had
don't
that.
know. I don't
They
know
had
what it
that.
was.
But yeah, no, the only element I ever had was it was right when the Featherlight came out,
Oh
and
yeah,
that
yeah,
that board was a piece of crap. No,
Yeah, yeah. That was like the Dark Star, like when Dark Star made like the ultra, like whatever non-breakable boards, and it was just like they just want,
non-breakable. Yeah.
like, yeah. It's like it doesn't matter. They're not good.
I had
Yeah.
a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Hey,
skateboard
uh,
from Kmart.
yeah, love it. Sorry, like a Tony Hawk board or
I was
something.
terrible. I could not do anything. I can't balance on anything.
How long ago was that, Jess?
Like I might my early 20s.
Oh, so it probably would have had metal trucks on it back then.
It
Yeah,
didn't roll for crap. It was $20 skateboard.
No, they don't. So they have very soft wheels. They're almost plasticky, and they usually don't have bearings in the wheels.
yeah,
Yeah. Otherwise, the most I know about skateboarding is watching X Games and the movie
yeah,
Grind.
yeah.
Mm.
Little
That's the
dog
most
time.
I know.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
That's all I need to know. The movie Grind is a great movie, though.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it. I know about it,
Oh,
but
you haven't seen it? You should see it. Oh,
yeah,
and
definitely.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater. What else am I talking
Yeah,
about? I
well,
know all
yeah,
about that.
yeah,
I always played Bucky Lassick, though.
great one. Great bull
Yeah.
skater.
So we love discovering new bands. Are there any bands you feel we should check out that you've already discovered?
Um, shoot. Sherry Domingo is amazing. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They've been on tour with Movements and like Citizen and them. They're local to LA. We played a bunch of shows with them. They're amazing. Fencer is also amazing. They're also from LA. They've been on tour with like Bad Flower and Dead Poet Society. Um, God, those are always my top two, my favorite ones of like smaller bands that don't get enough love. Um, let's see, Shell is amazing as well. They're from, I believe, the UK. They just released an EP a little while ago. We're on this label called Best Life Records in UK, and there's a few bands on there that are really cool, like them. And I think Twin Mill. Who else? No, that's I'd say that's pretty much it. Roving is another cool one actually. They're from, I think, Santa Barbara. They just released an EP with Alex Estrada, who we used to produce our stuff and produce our album. Um, yeah, I'm gonna keep it there. That's solid. I'm probably gonna be after this, be like, shit, like I forgot about this man, this man. But yeah,
It's okay. You
those
can always message it to us.
I will.
And finally, if crossing I's and dotting T's was a type of pasta, what type of pasta would it be?
Ooh, I love fettuccine alfredo. It's just my favorite pasta ever. I love it. I don't know how it would relate to our music, but I love alfredo with chicken.
No broccoli?
Yeah, broccoli too. Yeah, we can add some broccoli. Get my greens in.
Got to get that vegetable in there. Got to be somewhat healthy because that Alfredo sauce definitely is not.
I know. I never think about it. I just eat it.
It's true. I mean, you work out, so
I use that as a
you
justification.
just burn it off. I
I'm
don't work
sold at
out.
this. No, at this point, if I eat fettuccine Alfredo, I'm having a gas X and a lactate prior to it.
Yeah,
Ah, elder emo problems, right, Chris?